family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello. Welcome everyone to the Friday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It's hard to believe, but we have made it through another work week, and it is time to be grateful for one thing that we've gotten this far, that we've accomplished as much as we've accomplished. Take a little time to reflect on the week. What did we intend to accomplish, and how can we wrap the week up nicely? And on Fridays, we always focus on focus. Focus is the topic of the day. Focus is a tool. It's the secret sauce. When you can pour yourself, your resources, your energy into a thing, that thing is going to improve. That thing will be more accurate. That thing will be completed quicker. It is the secret sauce. The one thing that's hard for us to maintain in the world that we live in is focus. There are so many shiny objects that are waiting to grab our attention at any point in time, right? And so it's easy to be distracted and to find our way moving from thing to thing, when what we really need to do is commit to a thing, commit to something in this moment and pour everything into that. And as you get closer to finishing that, then you're starting to prepare for what's going to be next. But see a thing through. If it was important enough for it to make it onto your to-do list, be it an actual list or a mental list, if it made the list, then it should be important enough to receive your focus, your attention, your energy. Because what we focus on is what we bring about, right? I cannot plant a lemon tree and grow apples, right? I have made a decision. I've committed to lemons. That's the seed that I've planted. That's what I'm nourishing. That's what I'm going to bring about. So think about your to-do list the same way. If you actually want to get something accomplished, it needs your undivided attention, right? There's so many, when I look at quotes around focus and I read about focus, so many people have said the same thing in a little bit of different way. But they basically say saying yes to something and giving that your focus is saying no to everything else for a period of time, right? It may be that you've blocked your calendar and for an hour, you're going to write. For an hour, you're going to work out. For an hour, you're going to do whatever it is that you're going to do, right? Well, during that hour, that time is dedicated, focused on that activity. Everything outside of that activity is a no for that hour. I think sometimes we make it so big. What do you mean? My life is full. There's so many things that I have to do. I wear so many hats. How can I say no to everything else? For a period of time. If you want to be good at any of those things, they each need your undivided attention for periods of time, right? Block out your calendar. What am I doing this morning? What am I doing this afternoon? What am I doing at 3:00? However it works for you, but you need that dedicated time to pour into what it is that you're doing. That's why we have a work day, right? Most people work 8 to 5 or whatever. That company has bought your time, and your time is dedicated to them for that block. That's a big block, though. If you really want to be good at your job, if you really want to get things accomplished between that 8 to 5, you start to break the day down hourly, Subject wise, however you do it, there's dedicated time within that day that you have to do things. And I submit that it's important to put dedicated time where you do nothing but rest for a moment, restore, get up and take a walk, make sure that you've built in breakfast and lunch. These are things that I have to remind myself to do because I'm not good at those things. I get so locked into what I'm doing that I do forget about everything else, but anything in the extreme is not good. So it's great to be able to focus, but if I go in so deep that I forget to come back out, I forget to eat, I forget to take care of myself, I'm too deep in. I'm overly focused, right? I've forgotten that I need nourishment, right? So there's a fine balance. But if you can, at least for 10 minutes every couple of hours, break away from whatever it is that you're doing, that allows you to get the blood flowing again, which is going to increase your creativity. It's going to decrease your stress and frustration. And when you come back to it, you're fresher and you're ready to get back in. So you focus, you break. You focus, you break. And by the time the day is done, you've accomplished so much and you feel good about it. You're not all worn out, you're not frustrated, burned out because you've taken care of yourself along with accomplishing the things that you have set out. So we talk about focus, but that's also so intertwined with intentionality, right? Because first you have to attend to do a thing. You have to know what it is that you are intending to do. And then that's what gets your focus, right? That's what you're committed to for that period of time. And it's really frustrating for me. It's just the way I'm wired. If I've got a schedule and I'm planning to do something, I'm not the one that gets really excited by the new shiny objects because I do have that tunnel vision for that period. So I actually get frustrated by distractions. They don't work well for me. They frustrate me because they're taking me away from, even if it's just mentally for a moment, it's taking me away from what it is I've purposed as the important thing for me to be doing right now. So everything else, oh, it's like, why are you talking to me? Why is this happening? This is my time for this. And so I actually have to pull myself up and make sure I don't go too far that way. But knowing yourself is such an important ingredient, right? When you know how you're wired, you know how you typically respond, you know what triggers you, it allows you to continue to evolve. So because I know that I'm that way, I have to take a little breath before I respond if I do get interrupted from what I'm doing so that I don't have an ugly response. The look on my face, the exasperation. We say so much without saying a word, right? And so that's something that I have to work on because I do regiment and time block my time. And when something comes into that space, I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I'm not the shiny object chaser, but I could be so deep in that I miss something important. So know yourself. Spend some time focusing on you and how you operate and what you need to operate at your highest self. Integrate that knowledge in because it's going to prepare you to continue to evolve and to continue to do better at whatever it is that you've purposed for yourself. So today's quote is a simple one. Focus on your intent, your potential instead of your limitations. And that's by Loy McGinnis. Focus on your potential instead of your limitations. And that's a little counterintuitive to what we typically hear and how we typically move through, especially in careers and in jobs and building our businesses. People are always talking about, identifying your weaknesses and improving your weaknesses and that kind of, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you identify your strengths and you focus and you build from there, just think how much faster you can move towards your goals because you're already starting from a place of strength and knowledge and you're building and nurturing what your natural gifts. To me, that's a priority. Someone else said, focus on your strengths and the weaknesses will take care of themselves. I can't remember who that quote came from, but I read it not too long ago. But we get so focused on our weaknesses that we actually spend a lot of time trying to force fit ourselves into something when we already have natural gifts and talents that if they were nourished could take us so far. So identify those strengths and start from there. That is actually what the S in SOAR is all about. It's about your strengths, identifying those strengths so that you can really see where your gifting is, where your organic abilities come from, and make a decision around those. Are those a part of what's going to lead me where it is I'm intending to go? Most of the time the answer is going to be yes. Most of the time you're already known for something. Even as a kid within your family, you were the one that everybody came to for X. Fill in the blank. Natural gifting. Every time someone's feeling this, they always come to me and want to talk about it. Natural gifting. I thought for the longest that I would be some sort of a counselor, because that's literally the role that I've played my entire life when I look back on it. Counselor slash mediator, right? People always brought their issues to me. They wanted to talk through them. They wanted to hear what I thought, how I might solve it, that kind of stuff. So I've had a natural affinity in that space. So not a counselor, but it certainly works in what I do every day, because your gifting will follow you if you don't nourish it. Your gifting will lead you if you honor it and nurture it and allow it to become fully what it was destined to be. So your gifting never goes away. It's like a shadow. It's always right there trying to get your attention, trying to develop. But man, when you grab hold of it, it leads you so much quicker, so much smoother into your destiny. It's there for a reason. You're good at those things for a reason. We may categorize them like I did as a young person. I thought, oh, I'll probably be a counselor. Or maybe I'll be a broadcaster. I like to talk. So I'll probably be on the news. I thought that. Going into college, I was looking at communications. I looked at the possibility of psychology degrees, those types of things, because there was a natural draw. There's also a natural fulfillment when I'm in those spaces. I feel good. I feel accomplished. I feel nourished, fulfilled when I operate out of my gifting. And so allow that gifting to be a clue to you and lead you to what's next. I never in a million years would have thought my life would have unfolded the way that it did. I couldn't see myself doing the actual career that I built, but my gifting led me there, right? It was it was the most interesting journey. I've been with the company that I'm with for 24 years. Never would have saw myself there. For people who believe in luck, it was a fluke that things unfolded the way they did. I don't believe in luck. I believe in divine intervention and guidance. And God showed up that day, and he connected those pieces, and one conversation unfolded my life in such a magnificent way that I never in a million years could have put it together myself. I also can't take full credit for it. I can't say, oh, I was so smart. I said this and it led to that. No, it wasn't me. It was just a off comment that I made. And the person on the other end grabbed it. And 24 years later, I've had a magnificent career at this company. A company that I wouldn't have applied for on my own. If I saw an opening from them, I wouldn't have applied because I didn't see myself in that space. That's why our vision can't be it. It's too small. There is so much more for us than what we're able to see. But when you're soaring, right, you have a different point of view. You're looking out in the vastness. You're looking at unlimited potential, untapped possibilities. It's a different point of view. I never in a million years would have written this book, not the book that's out there, but my life. I wouldn't have written it that way because I wasn't able to see those possibilities. But one step at a time, saying yes to things that made me uncomfortable, had led me on a tremendous journey. And me and my family have been able to experience things that we wouldn't have otherwise. So get out of your comfort zone, focus on your natural abilities, and allow them to lead you into the next, whatever that next is for you. And it begins by focusing on your potential instead of getting bogged down by what you see as limitations. Well, if we all pinned our stories, we would have so many limitations in there. So many things that we wish we had done, that we wish we could do differently, on and on and on. Wouldn't give nearly as much space to our abilities. Oh, that's bragging. Oh, I'll let somebody else toot my horn. Baby, that horn may never toot if you are waiting on somebody else. But that's how we grew up. That's what we were told. But there's a way to respectfully, right, display your talents and to stand in your strength. We should not have to play it small in any space. Stand, take up space, right? Stretch your arms out wide. Take up space. Here I am, world, ready for whatever it is that is my destiny. And I'm going to face that destiny from a position of my strengths, not from a position of my limitations. It's a decision, it's a choice, it's a way of seeing the world, it's a way of seeing yourself. When you look in the mirror today, every time you look in the mirror today, I challenge you to think of one thing that you're great at. Think about your strengths all day long and allow them to encourage you, allow them to build your resilience, allow them to build your self confidence. And as they're building, you stand a little taller, you feel a little better, you have a little bit more stride in your step, right? And you're ready to face whatever comes your way because you're walking in your power, not cowering in what feels like your limitations. Focus on your potential instead of your limitations. Alan Loy McGinnis. Love that quote. All right, we have had quite a few comments come in. So, Jay, I'm going to take a look at those and then I'll come over to you because I think Brian is getting Miss Bree all situated in class. So, Dr. Marcia Thomas Powell, who is just as powerful as her name sounds, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is always great to see you. She said, good morning. My mom, Aromatic Visions, LLC. If you want your place to smell good, y'all better go to my mom's website. She makes these organic candles and room sprays and diffusers. And she was at an event last week, I think it was, and she didn't take everything out of her car. She got in the car when I was talking to her. She's like, oh, my car smells like heaven. And that's what my office smells like because I don't even light her candles. I just have them in the space with the door closed. And it's just all the time. So she says, good morning, fam. Happy Focus Friday. Leah says, happy and blessed Focus Friday. Sonia says, hello, fam. Man, I feel like this is a family reunion. I haven't had all my girls with me in a minute. We've got Dr. Marcia, we have Leah, we have my mom, there's Sonia, there's Kim. Happy Friday. I'm easily distracted. I totally know it. Oh, you need my help, sure. And then there's Conchita. The fam is rocking this morning. Conchita says, fabulous Friday, everyone. Grateful for another amazing day. Dr. Marcia said, you will also be able to identify your behavioral type and how you hinder and propel yourself. Yes, 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 yes. And she says, powerful. Your gifting will lead you if you allow it to take its rightful place in your life. Yes, yes, and yes. Kim says, my problem is I want others to succeed. Therefore, I am always willing to put me on the back burner, but it fills my cup. I deal with my stuff late at night or it gets pushed. Hard to change and say no. That's why you guys get my head in the right space in the morning. Thank you, fam. Have a great weekend. So, Kim, one thing as I'm reading this, you started it as a problem statement. The fact that you put other people first, the fact that you're kind-hearted, the fact that you care, don't see that as a problem. Just it's the way that you are wired, but you realize that it's important that you take care of Kim first, because that is going to allow you to give even more to others. But not a problem. It's not really a problem statement. We are who we are. Our lives have brought us to this point and created the whatever it is that we are today. But that's evolving as we have new experiences. We learn new things, we integrate them into our lives, and they keep moving forward, right? We keep moving forward. So don't see your kindness as weakness or as a problem. Just know that you're outwardly focused by nature, and you're learning to take care of Kim first, because that's going to give Kim more space, more resources, more energy to take care of those that are important to you. So no, not a problem. It's a wonderful trait. It just has to be contained and not allow it to drag you into places of discomfort for you. Conchita says, Cassandra, that quote was from Dr. Stephen Balznick's newsletter on LinkedIn. Thank you, Conchita. And Dr. Marcia says, when we listen to God and hear ourselves, we usually step into our definite purpose. Yes, yes, yes. Cynthia says, good morning, fam. I'm telling y'all, the gang is all here. Leah says, yeah. And Kim says, it's a family affair. That's what I'm feeling. I feel like it's a family affair today. I got all my brothers and sisters with me. Hey, hey, hey. All right. And then we have Conchita says, aromatic visions are the heavenly. Everyone should try her products. There's my actual DNA first cousin. Our dads are brothers. Douglas Redwine. Happy Friday. Have a great day on purpose. Absolutely. Whatever day you purpose in your mind and in your heart, that is the day that you are going to have. So on purpose, make it a great day. Love you, Duck. Love you, love you, love you. So glad that you're here. Aromatic Vision says, thank you for the shout out, daughter. Yes, walk in your gifting. Your gifts will make room for you. Exactly. Kim says, you're the bestest. Kim, you are the bestest. So when you say that, look in the mirror. Cynthia says, wow, the quote this morning is right on time as always. I'm so glad that you are here, Cynthia. Welcome, 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 everyone. I think I've hit all the comments so far, Jay. Let me check one more spot. Oh, Carol Dancer, the lady who keeps these locks luscious. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Caramel or Caramel, depending on where you are. Cutie48, thank you for being here. She says, good morning, sis. Carol says, good morning. Welcome to both of you ladies. I'm glad to have you with us as well. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm at the family reunion. I'm waiting on somebody to bring my plate of barbecue and a good red soda. I'm ready for this Friday. Y'all have picked me up. I always tell you, Thursdays and Fridays, the energy level's a little low. My husband asked me this morning, why'd you choose that dress? And I said, because it's busy, it's bright, it's colorful, and I'm picking my energy level up because it's not quite there yet. I'm always a little tired at the end of the week, but I've earned it, right? By the time we get to Thursday, Friday, we've done some things, we've accomplished some stuff. So I don't bemoan the fact that I'm tired. I celebrate it because I look at it as my body recognizing how much work I've put in at this point. But I don't see it as a negative. I don't lean into it. I take a little bit of extra time with the face, put on something that's bright and cheery, and step into that place, just like my cousin said, on purpose. I'm full of energy on purpose. And now my body has caught up with that decision. As I read your names, as I read your comments, as I saw all the familiar faces together in one space in time, it lifted me up. And now my innards are just as orange and bright and sunny as the outside. So thank you guys for that. But just know that you can make that decision, even when your body doesn't physically feel like it, mentally, you're not there. Realize, I know that when you look good, you do good, you feel good, you look good, you feel good, you feel good, you do good. I know the English is horrible, but you get the point, right? If you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you do good. My English teacher and my mom, I'm sure that's like nails across the chalkboard to my mom. We are language people. We love the English and language art. So it kind of hurt my ears, but it's true, right? So take that time to realize, I'm not there yet. And then do something that's going to help you get there instead of saying, oh, I'm not there yet, so I'm just giving into it and just start to wilt. It's too early in the morning for me to wilt. right? So pick myself up and get myself going on purpose. And you all have the ability to do the same thing. Conchita says, love that. On purpose, make it a great day. It's a family affair. Dr. Marcia says, looking forward to hearing what Jay will contribute. He always gives a valuable Bible verse. Absolutely. And Kim says, I need to place an order to go to the barbecue. And Dr. Pepper, please. Oh, she said my weakness. Happy Friday. All right, Jay. The audience has spoken. Dr. Marcia is waiting on you and what you have to drop. So please, please, please bring what you'd like to share.
Well, first off, I will say, and not to knock anybody, I'm going to rebuke Dr. Pepper on behalf of Cassandra Terry. Um, I'm, I'm
He
just
knows
kidding.
that's my weakness. That's one of the things I'm trying to get rid of.
See, but check it out. I think that's a really good example for Cassandra and all of us. She's focusing on the things she needs to focus on and not the things she shouldn't be focusing on, like Dr. Pepper. Um, but, I want to talk about Paul. And first, I want to also apologize for yesterday. Man, I've been working so hard on this book that my focus was askew yesterday. I talked about Hannah, but didn't give a Bible verse.
Mm,
And so, Lord, forgive me, because that was not what I wanted to do. I was distracted. Another good example today. Um, and so I'm going to start with the Bible verse. The Bible verse is this. It's Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things.
yes, one of my favorites.
And why is that important? Why is that verse important? Why is it coming from Paul? Because that's Paul talking, right? I think Paul and Silas were in prison,
There you go.
and that's why that verse is important. He was not focusing on what were the walls in front of him. He was focusing on what was noble, what was right, what was pure, what was lovely, and what was admirable. Obviously, he was in prison. Now he's talking to the Philippians.
Mhm.
And if you don't know the Philippians and who they were part of Rome. And I'm going to give a little history. So they were part of Rome, and a lot of them were retired military folks, and a lot of them were politicians. And so they held a lot of weight when it came to the Roman Empire, right? And so he's talking to them because they're being persecuted by Rome for being Christians, for loving God and loving Jesus and the gospel. And he was like, yo, wait a minute, stop. It's okay. Why are you focusing on those things that are persecuting, literally persecuting you, right? Christians today, right? We are not being persecuted, but there are things at our door every day coming for us, every day. And we have to be steadfast and focused on those things that are important. And the Philippians were important to Christianity because Paul went there. There wasn't a synagogue in Philippi. And so he goes to the river and he meets Lydia. And he's like, okay, come on over. Let me baptize you. Baptize you. She was the first in Europe to be converted. That's why the Philippians were important. Politicians, military people, people connected to Rome, it's important. And if they were going to be persecuted, and if they were going to be under the thumb of Roman rule while being Christian, oh yeah, they had a lot to be worried about and a lot to focus on that they shouldn't be focusing on. At least that's what Paul said. And so he was, I've talked about Cassandra being an example. My example of not reading the Bible, scripture yesterday. Paul's example. The man was in jail and he talked about focus. And we may not be in a physical jail, but we can be in a prison that we create if we focus on the things that are negative.
There it is.
Let's not create that prison, right? For ourselves. Let's focus on what we need to focus on. And that is what is true, what is noble, what is right, what is pure, what is lovely, and what is admirable. And back to you, Cassandra.
Love that share, Jay. And I think the history lesson along with the verse is what really makes it powerful. When you understand what was being experienced, right? And what was happening at that point in time when that particular part of the Bible was scribed is important. And I don't think enough of that happens, and so it makes it easy to take things out of context or to not really understand. But when you can tie the two together, and it makes it more relevant even today. But what we focus on is what we are going to, in fact, create for ourselves. So the Bible made it really clear, what to focus on. And knowing that Paul, if you can just imagine, and there were so many cases like that with him, being physically imprisoned, the walls around him, someone else deciding the ability to move and when to eat. And we know what prison is like. If we've never been there, at least we've seen enough to understand. And just because of physical limitations, it does not mean that you're in prison, because the real freedom is internal. You can create a beautiful existence wherever you are. I've seen the man who had I guess they called it the iron lung, had lived in that thing for decades and decades and decades. He passed away, I think, over the weekend. No ability to physically move, but contributed to this world, did not live as a prisoner of his situation. There are the mental prisons are so much more, they're so much stronger and more detrimental than the physical ones. The physical ones probably have a calendar associated with them. This is when that goes away, right? That's why the internal stuff, you slap my face, it's going to sting for a minute. But if I allow what you say and how you say and what you do to cut my heart, first of all, nobody sees the scar. They don't know that I'm bleeding. I may not know that I'm bleeding. It keeps getting re-injured because it's not being taken care of. Those internal, emotional, mental, spiritual things are so much more impactful than the physical. But we forget that, and we don't plug into that power. A physical bone break, just all it needs is time, and it's going to heal. But a broken heart can plague you for your entire life until you realize that it's there, and you go through whatever process you need to go through to heal it. So ask yourself regularly, where is your focus? What's getting your attention? And see how that is affecting the life that you're and how you're experiencing it. We have more control. You guys are going to hear me say it until the wheels fall off. We have more control than what we realize. Our thoughts are helping create our existence. If you don't like your existence, change the way you're thinking. Even if you can't move those physical walls, you can't change your external situation. You can absolutely change how you experience it by how you focus and what you focus on. I've seen people go into prison and come out so hardened and angry that they can't even be in society. It's like being with being with somebody that's just ready to attack at any moment. I've seen other people go into prison and create reading programs and and make that experience better for themselves and for others that are there. It's a choice. Maybe in the same prison, but you're not experiencing it the same way because of your focus. Some people just make the best of whatever they're given. Some people are given the world and are miserable. It's what you're focused on. What are you focused on? So it's important conversations to have with yourself. So important. Let's see. We've had some more comments that came in. Right before Jay started to speak, Dr. Marcia says, "Well said, Cassandra. You have to communicate positivity to your spirit. You absolutely do." And then I think she was laughing at you rebuking the Dr. Pepper. And my mom says the grammar is just fine, daughter. Make it plain. And come on, Jay, rebuke that Dr. Pepper. Y'all gonna give my Dr. Pepper a break today. Leave my friend alone. Conchita says, "Preach, Jay. Thanks for adding value to that passage of scripture. The historical context always helps with the life application. Appreciate you, Jay." Absolutely on point. That's exactly what I felt. Dr. Marcia said, "Very much so, Jay. Think on what is true. Love to share. Great application as usual, Jay. As a Christian leadership consultant and Christian life coach, I truly look forward and appreciate your contributions every session." Amen to that. Dr. Marcia says, "You all make such a great team. Thank you so much." Leah says, "Amazing story. He had polio as a child." That's right. I had forgotten that, Leah. Thank you. And my mom, Aromatic Vision, says, "Yes, Jay. Amen. Paul was preaching focus and positive mindset. Paul and Silas prayed all through the night until the jailkeeper freed them with fright. Their focus was on our Lord and Savior. Such should be our focus, because when our focus is on Him, we don't have to worry about anything. We have to just keep our minds on Him." Very, very true. Thank you for that share, everybody. Keep enriching the conversations with your thoughts. We appreciate you guys so much. All right. So, Brian, are you in a place where you can unmute and share as well? Let's see. While we're
I
waiting,
am.
there you go. All right. Love to hear
I
what you'd
am.
like to share.
I love coming to these morning shows and I hate them at the same time. So,
What is the dichotomy, sir? What's happening? Where's
so
that hate coming from?
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, I start off with this, and I tell you this, I told you this before. I start off with this. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm just because this is not really my space, right? This is all new to me. And then when I get in here, all of these thoughts start flooding in. I'm like, man, I can't wait to say this. I can't wait to say that. And then when it's my time to come, I'm like, I forgot what I was gonna say. Because I'm listening to all of the good the comments coming through. I'm listening to the statements you and Jay are making, and then I'm thinking back, over my life. And one thing stood out to me this morning that you said before about a certain thing being a noun, not a
Yeah.
verb, not a
Yeah.
noun. And
Yeah.
and focus is not a noun. Focus is a verb. You have to think about focusing in an active voice, right? When most of the times when I talk about content with clients, students, just anybody that'll listen, I always talk about writing your content in an active voice.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to yourself in an active voice. When you think about focus, don't think about, I gotta focus like it's a thing. No, no, no. Focusing. You have to always be focusing. And in order to always be focusing, you have to look at it as a thing that you do, an active thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this morning I was getting up and I was getting ready and I had this whole, I said, okay, I got it. I got it. I had this whole speech laid out, right? After we jumped on the show and y'all were laughing and breezed like, I'm not thinking about any of y'all today.
Yeah, I'm
After
not with it.
that, yeah, she wasn't with it. She wasn't vibing with that today. But after that, we rode, we went to school. I had gotten up this plan in my mind. And as soon as we got ready to get out of the truck, guess what happened? She said, Dad, I need you to carry me. And I told you, I walk her to school. So we park a good block or two away, and then I walk her up to school every day, right? So we get that
Right.
little extra time. And she said, Dad, I need you to carry me today. My legs don't work. Well, now, yeah, she's not 5 pounds anymore, right? And I'm not 25 anymore. So this is a whole struggle. So I lost my focus for what I was going to talk about. But let me tell you how focusing is active and how you get what you focus on. Guess what happened when she said, Dad, my legs don't work? Oh, no problem. Let's put this on stop. Let's put this down and let's get you up here. Let's move the backpack here. I'm always focusing on what's best for my kid,
Mm-hmm.
particularly the youngest one, right? So we got about halfway up. Dad started to give out. I was like, man, you're going to have to walk. She said, Dad, my legs still ain't working. I said, oh. I said, all right, all right, all right. All right. So we moved the backpack. I said, all right, jump on my back. So she jumped on my back. And the first time she did, she was like, woo, you a little light in the feet there, aren't you, buddy? I said, no, you just jumped on me the wrong way. And she said, okay, let's try it again. So we tried it again. This time she jumped on me right, without grabbing my head first and pulling me back. She just jumped on. And when she did, no problem. We got on up to the school. Now I'm still exhausted. Honest to goodness. I'm still exhausted. That was like 30 minutes ago. We got up to the school, and when I put her down, she looked at me and she wouldn't let me go. She just kept hugging. She just kept hugging.
Mm-hmm.
That's focusing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always focusing on being a dadpreneur first.
Mm-hmm.
When you focus on that thing that you want, even when things come to distract you from that thing that you focus on, that thing that focusing it's habitual. It's not something that you get to put up on the shelf and say, oh, I'm gonna focus on this today, or I'm gonna focus on that next week, or oh man, I'm gonna focus more this year. No such thing. Focusing is 24/7 all the time. What is that thing that you want? When you focus, the thing that you have focused on will come to you. Our brains are not creation stations, sending and receiving. Focus on the wrong shit, and that's what you'll get. I'll end with a Dr. Seuss.
All righty then. All righty then, Mr. Content. So the focus, absolutely. I think I've offended people in the past because when I talked about my to-do list, or if somebody's told me that they didn't have time or whatever, I play back to them, oh, you have something more important to do than whatever it is that we were discussing, whatever it is that we were planning. If you come back with, I can't do it right now, I don't have to, that means that you have something else that's more important to do. And that's not a negative. That's how I'm trying to help people think about things, so that as you're burning those precious cycles, that time that you can't get back, that energy, Bree's never going to be this age again. Eventually she won't. When she does try to jump on your back, you're going all the way down to the ground. So that time is precious and it's short. It's moving along. So what is the most important thing for me to do right now is a fair question that you should be asking yourself. We have to ask ourselves that all day long, because that will help us pivot. That will help us turn our attention to the right thing, because we're busy. We have lots of stuff going on. Doesn't mean we're productive. When you're productive, you're doing the right stuff. You're doing the most important thing right now that's going to impact down the road the goals that you have set for yourself. It's going to move you towards those things. So as much as it's great that we're here, sometimes something trumps this space and time for us. Y'all see me do it on a regular basis. I'll have to turn my camera off and walk around to the other side of the room and grab another laptop because I have work that I have to do there. And because that time is committed, I have to do it. And the fellas pick me up and they finish up the room. Today, Bree says, I want my dad's undivided attention to the point that I don't even physically want to move my own body. That's on you, Dad. So that becomes the priority. Unapologetically, that's what it is. And I want us to realize that that is the message that you're giving all day long to someone. And sometimes that someone is yourself. This is the most important use of my time. It may not really be, but by the mere fact that that's what you're giving your focus and your energy to, you've trumped that thing up. You've moved it up to being the most important thing. So you have to ask yourself, is it? Is this the best use of my time? Is this the best use of my energy? Is this where my focus should be? And if the answer is yes to those questions, you are right on point. Carry on. Keep doing what you're doing because you're building the life that you desire. If you can't answer yes to those questions, then the next question is, why am I doing it? Why am I spending my time here? Why am I allocating so much resource to this? It doesn't align with my values. It's not moving me towards my goals. It's not even what I really want to do. So why? But you don't even realize that it's happening if you don't tap in and you don't check in with yourself and have those types of internal dialogues. Why am I doing this? Is it some unmet need that causes me not to be able to say no when everything in me wants to? Do I have fear that my relationships are built on stuff and not on love and a good foundation, so I can't say no to these people? What am I afraid of? Do I not give enough attention and time to myself because I don't see myself as valuable as I see other people? You may uncover some things in the shadows that you can work on. Don't you shake your head like you agreeing with that one, Jay. Come on now. Don't let that one resonate. If it does, you better set up your next appointment, bro. We got to talk. But you have to get clear with yourself, because when you do, it's never a bad thing. Even if what you discover is something that you wish that wasn't there, by the mere fact that you've discovered it, you now can take dominion over it. You now can control and do the work to evolve from that place to a better place. But as long as it's lurking in the shadows, as long as it's whispering and quiet and you don't realize that it's there, you're still enslaved to it. It's driving you when you should be driving it out of your environment. So spend that time with yourself. Ask yourself the good questions. Why? Am I being busy or am I productive? Busy, lots of stuff, moving around all over the place, chasing everything, trying to do it all. Focused, doing the right things at the right time to create the life that's important to me, to reach those goals, to accomplish the things that I've purposed for myself. That's what productive is, taking the steps to move towards those things. You can be busy and not take one productive step because you're giving all your energy, focus, time to other stuff that doesn't really matter in your grand scheme of things. So we have to get brutally honest with ourselves and have those conversations, because it will reveal things to you that's going to help you continue to evolve and to move forward. And you start by focusing on your potential instead of your limitations. Loy McGinnis. We have a few more comments that have come in, and then we are going to wrap up this Focus Friday and allow you guys to finish up your day and prepare for your wonderful weekend. I'm excited about this weekend. I'm a keynote speaker tomorrow at Texas Lutheran University. So they have a program. Thank you, Jay. They have a program there tomorrow all day. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from the other speakers and interacting with the students. And then I'll wrap up the program talking about the name of the theme of their program is The Journey Continues. So I think I'm going to talk about continuous growth, continuous learning, that kind of stuff, which aligns with what I do perfectly. So I am excited about that. I'll let you guys know how it went. Let's see. And Leah says, that's right, Cassandra. That is the coffee bean story. It's not the event, but it's how we allow it to impact us. Dr. Marcia says, good to hear you, Brian. Conchita says, Brian, you always show up and allow the Holy Spirit to use you mightily. Your contribution is always like the icing on the cake, LOL. And it's so funny. I couldn't get it in, Conchita, because I didn't want to interrupt. I thought he was going to take a pause because the whole time he was beginning to talk, I was back as a little girl in my home church, and I could hear some of the sisters in the church saying, just let the Lord use you. You would hear that all the time when the choir was getting ready to sing, and the person that was going to lead the song had their microphone, and they were a little nervous. Just let the Lord use you. So that is exactly what I was thinking as Brian was starting to speak, and Conchita came right there. We are so energetically connected, guys. It's amazing to see the commonalities and what we're thinking and how we're thinking. Aromatic visions, LOL. Go ahead, Brian. You're preaching. I don't know about Dr. Seuss though, and she got the big eyes. Oh, she says good luck tomorrow. Thank you, Kim. Dr. Marcia says, congratulations, you will do well. Thank you, thank you. Aromatic Visions, my mom said, all right, daughter, keynote speaker, congratulations. Conchita says, congratulations, Cassandra. I know the people will be blessed by your message. And then Dr. Marcia says, he really revs us up. So I believe we have done what we've come to do. Did I forget anything, guys, before we go?
Well,
Dr. Garcia says, Brian got me with the Dr. Seuss.
got me too. I'm like, should we go back and reread some? I'm just kidding, man. But I wanted to I wanted to kind of go back to what he was talking about, and with Bree, and him getting his neck pulled as he was trying to pick her up the first time. Um, I remember one of my daughters. I was gonna put her on my back, and
Mhm.
she did the same thing, and she wasn't a little itty bitty girl, and she got a hold of my head like this and pulled back. And when I say I felt every bit of it, I mean I felt every bit of it,
Every
because
bit.
it went down my entire spine bit by bit. And all
Mm.
I could feel it and hear it crack all the way down.
He was
It
giving you a
took
chiropractic adjustment.
uh-huh, yes. And it was unexpected, and I tried not to go back to my youthful days where I would
Mm-hmm.
react
Mm-hmm. A few
with
expletives.
yes, and maybe some fist swinging. So, so I had to control
Hold your
myself.
mule, Jay. Hold your
Oh,
mule.
and I did. I I spared my child. I spared my child. But uh, you know, recently I was I was trying to get some things out of my garage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pulling stuff away, putting a box here, taking these huge pickup truck tires and slinging it around. And a day later, I get this stitch on my side,
Mm.
and I am trying not to breathe because with every breath, I'm feeling it. Every breath. Oh, oh, nope.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just relax a little bit. Oh, there it is again. Oh man, and it would not go away. It. I just started to feel normal Wednesday evening, and this happened on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm realizing, boy, you are fixing to be fitty. Don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
be
yeah.
don't be.
You young whippersnappers. I left 50 in the rearview mirror quite a while ago.
I hear you. I hear you. But there I am. There I am going, ooh, yeah, let me do some stretches first. Let me do some stretches first before I do anything. I mean anything. Pull this
Had to
chair
change your
out.
focus, huh?
Yeah, change my focus. But that's what I wanted to say before we leave, because all of that stuff kept coming up when Brian was talking. But thank you,
Doc,
Cassandra.
Conchita says Dr. Seuss kind of went rogue today.
NC-17 Rogue.
Oh, and Aromatic Vision said, Great show as always, guys. I'm so very proud of you. Thank you, Brian, for always putting the cherry on top." So, yes, it has been a great time. We are wrapping up another week, guys. We are full-fledged into a new month and a new quarter and wrapping up the first week of the second quarter. So, time is passing. Focus is so important so that you are not squandering that time. Every second is a gift. So we should make the most of it, and focus allows us to do that. Begin your focus by putting it on your strengths, right? On your potential instead of your limitations, as Alan Loy McGinnis said. And in doing so, you will meet yourself. You will learn where your organic capabilities are, and you can use that information to accelerate you towards the life that you so desire. So I want everybody to have a wonderful rest of your Friday, a blessed weekend. We will be back here on Tuesday, 7:15 a.m. Central, for Transformation Tuesday. And so I look forward to it. I can't wait to get back. You guys all come back. It was great having the family reunion. And you know what? Everybody bring somebody with you. Bring somebody with you. If you are getting something out of this show, you know at least one person who could benefit from it as well. So bring them with you. Let's introduce them to the morning show. Let's introduce them to SOAR and all the things that we have unfolding in that space. It is designed to be a blessing. But in order for people to be blessed, they need to be here to receive it. So help us spread the word. Everybody commit to bringing somebody with you next week that has not been here before. All right. With that, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be back.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you join us every week, Tuesday through Friday, 7:15 a.m. Central Time, for the Cassandra Terry.
Thank you, Dr. Marcia.
For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any member of the FAM Collective on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.